get educated, and, get the vote out, because if we don't, this is going to slip away precipitously in a way that we're not going to see it coming. And one day we're going to wake up, and my friends, my small circle, we talk about this all the time, and you're not going to be able to get in your car and drive the way you used to anymore. You're not going to be able to go to the market and get the groceries that you want to get. It's going to hit you just like that. I don't know what it's going to look like, but you're going to lose this freedom slowly, and this is what communism does in countries all over the world that we've seen, or socialism. It starts on that slippery slope of socialism, and then you have this sort of this monarchy. Look at Mexico. Mexico's, a monarchy, and the people are peasants. There's no upward mobility. There's no opportunity for growth and prosperity. That's what I think, the progressives want. They want to have all the control and keep us sort of on this even playing field in the name of social justice, and everybody's happy with a small piece of pie. That's ludicrous. What made this nation so great is creativity and ingenuity. Just people being creative and being allowed to be prosperous. And,
I like that you added personal responsibility to part of your principles, because that's self-reliance. See, when we're self-reliant, we don't want handouts. We don't expect handouts. We'd rather work for our own pay and earn our own things or stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And so, again, if we can talk a little bit about our classes, I can share with our members a little bit, or your viewers, your listeners, what we got coming up here in June.
Okay. Yeah, how can we get that information out?
Yeah, let's see. Well, coming up next week, so this interview is certain timely, we've got, again, what classes, and there's so many subjects to talk about. We thought, well, what's happening in Islam right now with Islam in respect to the uprising in the Middle East with in Egypt and Libya, and certainly the threat Israel continues to face. We felt the talk on Islam would be appropriate. Dr. Goldberg does a great talk about that. Many folks may have already heard his talk. Yeah, he's going to do a talk on Islam, doctrines, and ideology next Tuesday on the 14th. And following that, we have Brad Zinn talking about, and we all know Brad. We love Brad. Brad is also one of our advisors for our Mainstream project. Yeah, and he's also an advisor for Any Street. So we all walk in similar circles here, supporting each other in moving forward. He gives a very eye-opening talk on communism. It's called Diagnosis, Communism, Deadliest Disease. And it really gives you a historical perspective on where communism came from and where it is today, and that we're not so far from that sort of way of thinking. And certainly folks on the left make no, again, Van Jones, stuff about communists. They make no, they're coming out of the closet, if you will. They're making no apologies for their belief system. And then we have Terry Gilbert from KFYI on the 29th of June. Her talk is Don't Shoot the Messenger. And she's going to be talking about, in a world of global information and communication, what messenger do you trust to give the whole truth about the news and the spins of the media? So being a media person, she can kind of give us an insight about just how do we get our information and where's the best place to get that, and understanding where the truth lies between both sides of spinning. And then again, we've got in July a very special guest speaker, Professor Gene Aldridge. He's a renowned expert on foreign policy who happens to live here in Arizona, and he's been so gracious to volunteer his time to speak to the community about foreign policy issues. And his talk is called Foreign Policy for the 21st Century. And he was sharing with me in New Mexico, he was running a think tank that talked about public policy and foreign policy. I was very involved in the community there. And so he brings a lot of knowledge and breadth of knowledge to this issue, and is going to share with our members a little bit about foreign policy and what it should look like. So again, we can, as voters, say, all right, GOP candidate A, what do you think about foreign policy? Here's what I learned. Here's what I think is good foreign policy, and I'd like to see you perhaps advocate for us, because I think what our elected officials forget is that we, the people, we govern ourselves. We give the federal government the powers that they have, and we retain powers in the states on certain levels. And when it doesn't go to the states, it goes back to the people. And I think our elected officials have forgotten what they were elected to do. It is to serve people. And so we need to take that power back and say, you work for us, not the other way around. And some might call it bossy and, sit down and shut up. Oh, hell no. I'm going to be bossy, and I'm going to speak up, and I'm trying to encourage other people to get bossy and speak up, too. It is your right as a citizen. And if you don't, I guess get in the back of the bus and say goodbye to your freedom. I don't know about you, Annette. I don't want to live in this country without my freedom. I tell my friends, I joke around, and I say, well, listen, if we don't make a change in our leadership here in 2012. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to move to Montana, maybe go up to Australia and Alaska.
I was thinking about, oh gosh, I might as well throw in the hat if Obama is elected in 2012. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't think beyond 2012.
That's right. And then again, I mentioned Shane Krauser earlier. He's going to be talking after our talk with Gene Aldridge on the 23rd and 30th. Shane gives it's an 8-hour seminar broken down into 2 4-hour segments, which is going to be just fantastic. I can't speak well enough of it. I mean, people just need to come, and they will not regret that they've come. Here's some comments made by, I think, Senator Russell Pierce. Shane is a fantastic speaker who inspires those who are fortunate to hear him. What a patriot. And another student of his quoted, Shane Krauser is the most dynamic speaker on the Constitution that I have ever heard. And those are absolutely truthful statements. And it's a real treat. I think Shane is going to really empower people to have the knowledge they have to really start shifting this country back into the right direction. Because if you don't understand the foundation of the Constitution that gives us our freedom, you don't know how to defend it. And that's a good place to start.
Are all these speakers that you have scheduled, are they on a schedule or a calendar on, is it any street or the mainstream?
Yeah. No, these classes are on our website, again, www.arizonamainstreamproject.org, and we also have a Facebook, which is Arizona Mainstream Project. Go in and put a search for that, and our classes are listed there, but we're asking folks to sign up on our website. We have a PayPal system set up, very easy. Go in there and click how many tickets you want, and then you can pay via credit card, or if that's not something folks want to do, they can send us a check in the mail to Arizona Mainstream Project, and our address is right there up on our website. Everything's very accessible, and so we'd prefer people to pay in advance and register so we know how many folks to expect. But of course, if folks just don't know if they can make it and they want to show up and pay at the door, we welcome that as well, but no guarantee they can get in depending on the limitation of room. So that's sort of the risk they take by not signing up. By signing up, we can maybe make room changes and adjustments or last minute or get another speaker to, have another class scheduled so folks can get that. But yeah, our website's the best place to go. And again, I'll just finish this part here with our last speaker here we have for the summer is Steve Twist, if I can add. He's a well-known and well-respected lawyer in the community, and he's going to be talking on the rights of crime victims. Steve Twist has worked to promote crime victims' rights for more than 30 years, providing assistance to Congress, state legislatures, tribal governments, and local organizations in drafting, passing, implementing victims' rights statutes and amendments. He was sharing with me how he worked with the Reagan administration to try to get an amendment, I think, to the Constitution about crime victims' rights, and it failed. The Senate didn't ratify that amendment. I believe I'm speaking correctly about it, but it didn't pass. But there's been laws passed on a local and state level, but crime victims' rights is an issue that's very important, we feel, and people should know more about that. There's very little protection for people who are victims of crimes, and we're excited to have Steve talk about that and bring some awareness to an issue that, hasn't had much awareness, on the national stage.
Great. Well, we're gonna wrap it up. Is there anything else you would want listeners to know other than I think we've given out the Arizona Main Street Project.org website and the AnnieStreet.org website. But is there anything else you want to add that maybe we didn't cover that's important?
Thank you, Annette, for giving me a few more minutes. Yes, we almost forgot to talk about our banquet coming up in the fall. Our second annual Patriot Banquet is going to be on Saturday, October 22nd at the Scottsdale Plaza Resort. Our featured keynote speaker will be Bill Whittle, which is considered by many industry watchers to be the hottest and upcoming conservative political commentator and American heritage philosopher of his time. He was here in February and gave a talk at the Tea Party Patriot Summit. He was on Pajama TVs for a while as one of the anchor reporters. Now he's got his own network, BillWhittle.net. But you can learn more about Bill on our website. We have Tammy Bruce, who is a conservative talk show host. She will be returning. She was our keynote speaker last year.
I remember that.
Yeah, we're so pleased to have Tammy back again. She used to be a radical leftist and is now sort of a reformed conservative, is very strong conservative with very strong points, conservative values that we can all relate to. And she knows how to defeat the left. We've been one of them, and she understands how they work and how they function. So she teaches us to stand for our principles and don't back down from the left because they're not going to back down fighting you. So we can't back down either. And then we got Krista Branch coming, who's a singer-songwriter. She sang her husband wrote the song "I Am America," and she sang
yes,
it. It became
beautiful.
it became a YouTube sensation. It talks about the Tea Party movement and the American people fighting against the tyrannical federal government, and it's just powerful. So she's going to come and perform a live concert for us. And our very own Shane Krauser will be speaking as well to our guests to get them fired up about the Constitution. And we're very excited. So we hope to get a big turnout and bring people together and celebrate the greatness of this nation and, again, get folks motivated for the upcoming elections.
Yeah, and last year when I attended, that was the most awesome banquet I think I'd ever attended. All these activists, all these very, very, very important people that are activists in Arizona all gathered in one place. It was a lot of fun, great speakers. So anybody that's listening out there, you need to attend this Patriot Banquet. Last year it was phenomenal, and this year I'm sure it's going to be even more phenomenal. Thank you so much, Honey Marques, again with the Arizona Main Street Project, and also AnyStreet.org, also founder of Tea Party Patriots of Scottsdale. She has her hands full, so thank you again so much, honey, for being on Tea Party Tribune Radio.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Annette. I really appreciate this, and thank you, Tea Party Tribune, for this opportunity. You guys are great, and let's keep up the good fight.
Great, thank you. And this has been a production of Patriotic Media, LLC.
Thanks so much, Annette.